And Zach Wilson is right now is projected to be the second overall pick in the draft. And as a Jets fan, that makes me extremely happy because the Jets have had a bad history with quarterbacks. I can't name you the entire history because it'd be way too depressing for me to do that. But let me just name you the quarterbacks who have started for the Jets since 2010. There have been 11. Those guys have been Mark Sanchez, Greg McElroy, Geno Smith, Michael Vick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Bryce Petty, Josh McCown, Sam Darnold, Luke Falk, Trevor Siemian, and Joe Flacco. Also, we drafted Christian Hackenberg in the second round of the draft, and he was a complete bust. Mark Sanchez gave us Jets fans our best 2 years of our Jets fandom in the last 20 years, probably. I mean, his 2-year run with the Jets, it was longer than that, but those 2 years were very special and will always mean something to me as a Jets fan. In 2009, we went to the playoffs. We beat the Cincinnati Bengals. We then beat the Chargers, but we lost to the Colts in the AFC Championship. Then in 2010, we beat the Colts in the first round. Then we went to New England and beat the Patriots in a game where Bart Scott came out and said, I forgot what he said. I think Bart Scott, he was like, I forgot what he said. But we beat New England, and then we lost to Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship. That was very heartbreaking as well. And as good as Sanchez was in those 2 seasons, it really saddens me to say that he's only remembered for being the butt fumble guy. He's not remembered for beating the Patriots and playing really well in the playoffs as a whole. I mean, Sanchez went 4-2 in the playoffs, and his quarterback rating was above 90. I mean, he was very great in the playoffs, regardless of who he was in a regular season. In the playoffs, he was very, very good. I say all this to say that I think Zach Wilson is going to change the quarterback history that surrounds the New York Jets. Zach Wilson, to me, is special. Off-platform throws, his arm strength, his anticipation, his accuracy, and he's also a sneaky athlete. And for all of you guys that saw his pro day just showed you what you saw on tape, that he's able to make those type of throws. You know, that wow throw he had off his back foot, I mean, that was a beauty of a throw. And I don't put too much stock into pro days because pro days are just pro days. You're not going up against defenders, but nonetheless, Zach Wilson was special on film in his pro day, you name it. I'm in love with Zach Wilson as a quarterback prospect. And I'll be honest, when Sam Darnold first got drafted to the Jets, I was kind of forced to love him as a prospect. I was forced to believe in him, of course, because if a player joins your team, you're going to root for them. You're going to hope that they succeed. Sadly, Darnold to this point had not succeeded, but I think Zach Wilson will. And if you want to know more about Zach Wilson as a person, watch the documentary Deep Blue, Zach Wilson on YouTube. It's going to change your perspective on him or reinforce your perspective on him as a person when you watch that. He threw for 3,600 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions at BYU in 2020. And although I'm not a stats guy, I'm a film guy. I'm not a stats guy. Those stats are really good. And people often use a competition argument against Zach Wilson, and to me that makes no sense because BYU isn't stacked with talent. Dax Milne is their best receiver. He's probably going to be a 5th-round pick at best, and Gunnar Romney, his other receiver, was really dropping a lot of passes. I mean, out of every 5 passes, he'd probably drop 1. And BYU is facing similar talent to what they're facing similar talent to what they have on the field. I mean, they don't have Zach Wilson didn't have Ohio State receivers. He didn't have Alabama receivers, Clemson receivers, and NDSU where Trey Lance went. That's a powerhouse of a school in their conference. Then another argument is that Zach Wilson is a one-year wonder. And for me, okay, you can maybe say that, but in 2019, Zach Wilson dealt with a wrist injury and a shoulder injury. It's not like he was really himself that year. I think 2020 was the first year that he was able to be healthy and actually have a full offseason. And even if 2019 he wasn't that good, that just tells me that he got better. Don't you want your quarterback to get better? after all the decades of bad quarterback play that us Jets fans have had to deal with, botching on picks, no fan base deserves a franchise quarterback more than New York Jets fans. And I believe that Zach Wilson is going to be that franchise quarterback. That franchise quarterback that we thought Sanchez was going to be. That franchise quarterback that we thought Geno was going to be at one point. That franchise quarterback that we thought Sam Darnold was going to be. I think Zach Wilson is going to be that. And I'll be honest, Joe Douglas, to me, I criticized him a lot because I thought that I didn't want Jamal Adams to get traded. I didn't like how he handled some situations. I wanted to bring back Robbie Anderson. But I'll be honest, to this point, Joe Douglas has proved me wrong. He has drafted well Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, Mekhi Becton, even Braden Mann, our punter. He's drafted well. And this free agency period, he's done a heck of a job. Getting Carl Lawson, a really good edge rusher. Getting Corey Davis, a good wide receiver. Getting LaMarcus Jr., who was not good in Las Vegas, but who can still be a very productive player. Getting Sheldon Rankins, another guy who can be very productive. Gerard Davis, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Kroft, Keelan Cole, Justin Hardy, Dan Feeney. I think this offseason was a success for the New York Jets. And Joe Douglas is slowly but surely building a very good culture around the Jets' name. And Robert Saleh coming in is kind of reinforcing that culture, that change in culture, because everybody loves Robert Saleh, the energy that he brings, him being there for his players. I think the Jets in a few years are going to be one of those teams that we look at as a good place that players want to play at, because it is in New York and because we are building a very good culture. And what I like the most is that Joe Douglas, at least to this point, has proven that he knows how to draft. And all great teams are built through the draft at first. And because of that, I think we're in good position. I hope the Jets draft Zach Wilson with the number 2 pick, because I truly think Zach Wilson is going to be special. And I hope that he is, as a longtime Jets fan that has been hoping for a franchise quarterback for years now. I really hope that he is.